I now want to talk about how you attend to priorities, which task gets the priority over the other. And for that, I think back to this measuring of time itself. In the old days, you'd have a hourglass contraption which you'd turn over and say, 3 minutes over. When there used to be 3-minute limits on calls, long distance calls, that was the thing that used to be quite common. And it is one grain at a time going through that narrow thing, like one car at a time when there's, some kind of a detour or something happening, some work in progress on the roads, and one car is only let through. It's very similar. You can deal with one thing in time because there is no real benefit of trying to multitask. Nothing really gets done. You can multitask, like I said, when you're tying your laces, something very unimportant, while you're talking to somebody about something important. That's not multitasking. Multitasking are people who think they can juggle 2-3 balls at the same time, all of the same importance. Something's got to give. One of those balls will fall, and it may be to the detriment of the total effort. So, we are going to put our minds to, what gets priority. And if we do not want to do this juggling act and end up with a mess, then we should get through any confusion on what is priority. I would like to think that if something can be finished off in 10 or 15 minutes, make it a priority, put it at the top, and get it out. Because there are so many things in any given day that a person has to deal with at any level. And the higher you go, the more the stakes are. But there are just as many things that a high-level executive has to cope with as a junior. So I think if it is going to take just a small amount of time, just get it done with. If it takes a little more than that, but you know that you can pull on a couple of people to help do little bits of it, and you can push through the thing in 10-15 minutes, then that's the way to go. Now there are certain things that are not like that, which will have a fixed time, and it is only at that time or between that time that the task can be done. You're going to a seminar, right? Or you're going to catch a plane. It's going to take so many hours for the flight, or the seminar is going to go from 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock and lunch, and after that you can take a break and escape from there if you need to. But yes, the 2-hour thing for the seminar is going to take that amount of time. There's no way you can compress a seminar and do it in lesser time. So that will get priority for that time, that 11 to 1 on that day, that gets its priority. But like I said, if you can take some assistance and get it done, so much the better. Another way is to throw some money at it. Maybe if we get an outside person, a consultant or somebody else to whom a big chunk of this work can be allocated, it comes down to delegation, yes, but the person could be working within your organization for a short period of time, or a part-time worker, and you can keep your eye on what's happening. So it's not total delegation of the total job out, and you're still getting your priority work attended to and finished. So if on the other hand you have something that would take maybe 2-3 hours or more, and it is not an enjoyable thing, it is difficult, and it might be a little open-ended. For instance, there are 2 groups that you have to deal with, and you've got to get both of them acting in unison, and they have conflicting ideas, and there is conflict management that is required. Now that's an open-ended thing. You have to allow time for the conflict to get resolved, for each person to say what he has to say, for negotiation and all of that. Because in things which have to be negotiated and which may end in a formal contract or not, the problem is that even though the 2 sides may appear to have arrived at some solution, and you would say, okay, that was time well spent, but what if it's just this surface kind of agreement, and everybody goes home or goes back to their departments and just closes the lid on it, saying they've said what they wanted to say, they bulldoze us through that, but we don't have to cooperate. And in the end, nothing really gets done. There was just this formalized kind of coming to some agreement, but it wasn't deep down agreement. There wasn't any solid basis to it. So we have to allow time to ensure that the conflict management is done and done well enough so that there's follow through by the people who have to ensure that they do their part of the bargain. I hope I made my points clear, and this is what good prioritization means. It means being able to discern which are the short things, smaller things which can be knocked off so that the whole pile of jobs becomes much smaller, because there are lots of these little 10-15 minute things that can either be delegated, or you can get someone in, or you yourself can attend to it and be done. And then you have the big chunks, a little nebulous kind of thing, like I said, conflict management, which will require more open-ended time allocation. Good luck.